Hey everybody, so for today's video, as you can tell by those two titles I just showed, I'm going to talk about the director Spike Jonze for you today. Spike Jonze is famous for Adaptation and Where the Wild Things Are, and he also directed the film Being John Malkovich. Um, all three films I reviewed in the past. Um, so Spike Jonze, you guy, what's really clever about Spike Jonze is I believe he was a music video director before making feature-length stories into movies. And what's cool about Spike Jonze is um, he's for the moviegoers who are kind of interested in movies, like being a part of the movie business. And he's able to talk about stories like an adaptation of the screenwriter's point of view of the story and how that screenwriter is important and how he's a part of that story that's being adapted into a movie that you're currently viewing. So he's kind of has a really unusual perspective on film, and I think that really shows up in his work, and that's a really clever thing to portray in a movie. Um, Being John Malkovich, him and Charlie Kaufman brought an interesting concept to the screen of what if an everyday man who worked a job that wasn't film related at all found a door that could link to an actor's mind, and you got to be that actor for a certain amount of time. Um, so he's able to come up with really clever concepts for his movies. Like I said, adaptations about a screenwriter. So it kind of shows how the screenwriter is adapting the story and how that fits into the actual book that the movie's being an adaptation of. Um, where the Wild Things Are was an adaptation of a book, and I can see why Spike Jonze wanted to direct it because the story itself that it's based off of the children's book, the children's picture book, was very uniquely illustrated by Maurice Sendak, and it had a very unique take on stories and a unique look for a story. So I can see why Spike Jonze would want to work with that and want to take on the whole costumes and the look of the creatures, and it was just a very unique film that I'm glad that I can finally watch a film that both adults and kids would like at the same time. Because when I saw that film in the theater, um, there was a good variety of kids and adults, so it didn't seem like a kids movie. And it didn't seem like a movie that was strictly for the adults. Um, let's see what else I want to say about Spike Jonze. Um, so Spike is really clever, just about perspective on film, kind of bringing that into the movie. Um, he's very good about comedy, even though some of his films aren't exactly a comedy. He's able to add comedic elements to the film, kind of like what Quentin Tarantino does. And let's see. Yeah, Spike Jonze is a really clever director, you guys. I really enjoy his work. He's one of those directors where I really haven't seen anything bad from him. Being John Malkovich is good, Adaptation is good, and Where the Wild Things Are all. In fact, Adaptation and Where the Wild Things Are alone are huge in my book. I mean, I love those movies. Um, so Spike Jonze, you guys, if you haven't seen any of his work, he is a very good film director, very clever, very um, adds a unique touch to adaptations such as Where the Wild Things Are and The Orchid Thief, which is pretty much an adaptation of a film. It's a book that was turned into a movie, and it's about the screenwriter adapting that story into a movie. So that's what makes adaptation very unique and special, and one of my favorite movies in my opinion as well. And also while we're at it, Chris Cooper won Best Supporting Actor for that movie. So that's what's kind of cool about that. So Spike Jonze, you guys, very good director. Make sure you check out his work, especially Adaptation. It's an excellent film, and he's made other great films as well.